There's a very common practice that people do in the kitchen and in the bar, and it's called mise en place. Mise en place is a French term that literally means put in its place, or everything in its place. Now, I don't always do this. I do it obviously if I'm working at a bar or I have a huge event that I have to do. But typically I will do it for myself when I have a cocktail that has a lot of ingredients. So today I'm prepping for my Bloody Mary. I have people coming over later. It happens to be one of my cocktails that has a lot of ingredients. So I want to prep it. So mise en place is really putting everything in its place. It's really about being really prepared so you don't forget anything. So everything is right there. So it gives you the freedom to really be with your guests, interact with your guests, not worry about things. Because a lot of times, especially the intricacies sometimes of my cocktails, I'm bound to forget something. I'm bound to miss something. I'm bound to having like, oh, I didn't prep this ahead of time and it's going to take a couple minutes. So the first thing that's really important for you is when you are prepping, doing this, is you've got your recipe, so you know what that is, right? So what I do is, because I know this recipe by heart, I've written down here every ingredient that I need for that. So the first thing I've done is I've created a checklist that I'm literally going to go through as I start kind of building this canvas out. So again, I look at this as a blank canvas. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our cutting board down. If you don't know this, a lot of times cutting boards don't necessarily just go down and they stay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice rag here. I wet it a little bit. And I get most of the dampness out of it, right? So I'm going to get most of the liquid out of it so it's damp. And I lay that down here. And then I put the cutting board on top of it, right? So the whole point of that is now I've got the cutting board and it's not going anywhere. I'm pushing on both sides. It's not really sliding, right? Okay, so I'm going to go down the list now. This is my Bloody Mary. It's a 17-step Bloody Mary that I call the Mother Mary. So of course we need tomatoes. So I've got my tomatoes. I actually have tomatoes that I use sometimes for a garnish, so I'll put that there. Scallions, okay? So we'll take some scallions. Now the whole point of this is so everything is kind of right in front of me and ready, right? So we are going to take a knife here. I'm going to chop up some scallions here that are ready to go. And listen, if it's helpful to you, just check it off as you go. I got tomatoes. Down. Cut some scallions. I love being prepared, especially now that I do a lot of different tasting menus and cocktails. The more prepared I am, the more I can really, really be with my guests, and I love that. So I'm sure that's going to be the same for you. So I'll check that off. Now, red bell pepper. So I'll take a little bit of red bell pepper here. Probably good sometimes to maybe prepare even a little bit more than you might use. So put that there. Because you never know, like maybe you had to make a second one, or you just want to be prepared that you're not just making one, and who knows, someone might come back 5 minutes later and want another one, right? So you just want to be prepared for that. Now we've got some dill, and what I'm going to do here is I've got dill and cilantro, so I'll put the exact amount, pretty much, not exact amount, but I'll take a bunch of parsley and dill. So I'll take a bunch of dill and cilantro and put that here. So that's ready to go. And then we've got cucumbers. I'll take a cucumber and cut that up. I love all these little things you can have here. Got the cucumber. Now lemon juice. So we happen to have a lemon here. So a lot of times lemon and lime juice. So I obviously use a juicer. So it's nice, like I don't want to clear out that juicer necessarily, or I don't have both. So what I'll do is I'll have the lime juice that I squeeze in the juicer, and I know I only need about 3/4 of an ounce. So what I'll do is I'll juice another amount here. So I'll have my lemon juice. I'll even have my lemon juice prepared too. So all my juices are prepared. Let's get that lemon in. For my Bloody Marys, I actually use lemon and lime. What's also great too is you get to clean as you go along as well, which really makes it nice. All right, so I've got that. Now we've got the onion sprouts, which is another garnish, right? So we'll put that there. These are onion sprouts that you can just get at Whole Foods. That's going to go on top. Let's see here. Olive juice. So I love to use Kalamata olive juice. So what I'll do is I'll take this olive juice here. I'll put it in another container here. So that's all ready to go. And what's nice about transporting it into measuring cups, it's easy to pour into your tins when you're measuring, in your jiggers as well. And then we've got a beet horseradish. So what I'm going to do, we could put them in separately, but why not have it prepared? So we'll take some beet juice, and we'll take some horseradish and get that all mixed up. So what's great about this is, as I'm prepared, I can maximize entertaining. Okay, I can maximize having people over and experiencing. I think also what's nice is there's a great visual here that people walk into. I think they walk into and they kind of see this beautiful palette of colors and things like that, and already you have gotten them. You know, like to me, when they walk into your kitchen and they see this, it's like the entertaining has begun. So it's a great thing to have. So I'm just going to mix this up so that this is ready. Okay. So multitasking is listen, I love multitasking. I believe in it, but it's really, really important to be able to make a drink or cook something and be able to have a conversation and do other things. I think that's too many people sometimes can get really stuck on focusing on doing one thing and they're kind of forgetting their environment. So the whole point of this is that, again, you feel free, you get to communicate, you get to be yourself, you get, people can ask you questions and you're not going to be thrown, like, what are you using? Why do you use that? All of that. So that's important because people are going to ask you a lot of questions like, why so many ingredients? Or why are you using Aquavit for a blood? Or why do you use Bloody Mary mix? All those things. So, but right now, as you can see, I pretty much have everything set up. So I have everything except the water. Now the next thing I would do is, what tools am I going to use? That's the final step, right? So we're going to get the tins that I need. Bloody Mary is actually one of the few drinks that you roll, so I have to have 2 tall tins. I have my jiggers here to measure, and then I have the muddler. So I'll do one more kind of quick through everything. Everything's been checked off. I've looked at this. I'm all ready to go. And then I like to clear everything. So it's all clear. We get to clean ahead of time. And look at how pristine and beautiful that is. This is mise en place, putting everything in its place. So here's a perfect scenario that I'm sure you'll relate to. Let's say, you're cooking or you're making drinks and you're deep in the conversation or you're laughing about a moment, whatever, and all of a sudden you're kind of thrown because you forgot something or you can't find something. How much does that immediately just kind of take you out of that moment? You're no longer, your head is down, you're no longer interacting, you've missed that moment. And that's kind of what we're here for. The whole point is to entertain, to keep that connection. We're bringing them into our world, And I think the more and more that you're just so kind of grounded in this, you will enjoy every moment of it.